The Phillies are coming off 4 straight wins as they beat up on the lousy Washington Nationals last night. All they needed was 3 runs in the first inning. Schwarber gave them the bomb, and the Phillies coasted. But, oh, my God, what happened last night? What? 4 innings? 4 innings of relief by the bottom of the Phillies bullpen. Ruiz, inning and a third. Banksy, 1 2/3. Hernandez with a clean inning. And the Phillies win last night. How about that? 3 in the first and sayonara. All right, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about where the Phillies are right now and what your feelings are about the Phillies, because I think there is not a lot of confidence right now in the Phillies. I was playing golf with some guys last night. Threesome. And me. Every guy in a threesome says to me, "They're not going to make the playoffs, right?" I go, they're 1 game back in the playoffs right now. Well, I just don't think they're going to make the playoffs. Well, this team's out west. They're really good. Can the Phillies make the playoffs? I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And they're obsessed with making the playoffs right now. It's possible they don't make the playoffs. It is also possible that they right this ship, that they get some relief help, that the general manager makes some kind of a trade, that they're all right and they get in the wild card. And maybe they can still win the division. I mean, who knows? Billy Colarulo is with us. Ray Dunn is with us. Bill, your feelings about the Phillies last night. I can't get overly excited. I hate watching a bad baseball team. I can't do it. And I was forced with my eyeballs like Malcolm McDowell at Clockwork Orange with the toothpicks having to watch the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, good morning, man. Good morning, Ray. The Nationals stink. We know that. But look, at least the Phillies are taking care of business against a bad baseball team. But it's interesting. You said your 3 buddies you're golfing with are saying they're not going to make the
playoffs. They're not going to make playoffs. They didn't even know they thought they were so far out of it. I go, they're only back of 1 team, really.
It's funny because the vibe is it's been a very frustrating start to the season, but they are 17-13. They have won 4 straight. The issue, though, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, it's not the record. It's looking at what the glaring issues are on this baseball team and wondering if they're going to be able to fix them. And the biggest glaring issue was the bullpen. But like you said, last night, 4 scoreless innings from guys like Ruiz and Hernandez and Tanner Banks. And I saw an interesting stat this morning that made me feel a little bit better. Apparently, last year's team had an ERA through April from their bullpen of 5.32. This year, as bad as it's been, it's 5.03. And that bullpen last year went from 5.32 ERA down to 2.20 in the month of May. Now, I'm not expecting that much of an improvement, but maybe we do need to be a little bit patient. Maybe we do have to look at the Jordan Romanos of the world and say, you know what, his last outing, he looked pretty good. His velocity's getting up. You know, maybe we do need to look at these bats and line up and say, hey, weather's getting warmer. As Topper likes to tell us, they're better when it's warm, and now Schwarber's starting to heat up a little bit. He hit that home run last night with 1 damn arm, Mike. So maybe we do need to be a little bit patient. I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to the fans.
So are you patient?
I'm trying to be. It's hard.
Are you feeling patience?
No, I'm not.
You just got done telling me how great the bullpen was last night.
Yes.
Are you serious with that?
No. I'm not. Like as I said, I'm trying to be positive.
You gave me Ruiz, Banks, and Hernandez. Like that's going to set up the rest of the year?
No. Well, one of those guys probably, I mean, Banks will be here, but I'm thinking Hernandez is probably gone once they bring Suarez back to the active roster, don't you think? Hernandez may be the guy that's, or do you keep Hernandez?
Who knows? He's a relief pitcher. You need relief pitchers.
And he throws some heat.
You're going to cut down one more relief pitcher?
You have to. When Ranger Suarez gets elevated, you're going to have to drop somebody from the pen. You're not going to drop Walker.
Well, who's it going to be? You have to drop somebody. It doesn't mean anything. Who's it going to be?
That's what I'm saying.
Who in the rotation is going to go to the bullpen?
Probably Walker. Or they go to a 6-man rotation.
You just said it can't be Walker.
No, I'm saying that they're not going to release Walker. They got to make room for Suarez.
Let's go into this 6-man rotation a little bit here because you just brought it up. Do you actually think that could work?
Over the life of a 162-game season, no. But for the short term, potentially. Potentially it could work. I know Wheeler hates it. We've talked about this. He likes being his normal rest and all that.
And so does Nola, and so does every starting pitcher that ever took a ball.
But all right, let's play it out though. Are you moving Taijuan Walker to the pen? Because that's the only solution then if you're activating Suarez.
You're going to have to do.
All right, so then if you do that, who loses their job in the pen?
Do I care?
Probably not. They've been weak.
What is this? Is this an actual talking point here? Who's going to lose their job in the pen?
Well, they got to figure it out.
Ruiz or Hernandez? You think I'm going to lose sleep over that?
It'll probably be Hernandez. But here's why I think it could work. This is why I think the 6-man rotation could work for a short period of time. What was the issue last season headed into the postseason? Ranger Suarez hit a wall. So maybe it actually would be a benefit to him to be in the starting rotation, but not be a 5-man rotation. Give him a little extra rest. You're not going to overwork Sanchez. You're not going to overwork Suarez. Now, Wheeler and Nola, I don't worry about those guys, but maybe this is a way to keep all these guys fresh. And let's talk about Jesus Luzardo. As great as he's been, he is coming off an injury last year. So maybe this is a way to preserve your starting pitching to keep them fresh. I'm not saying do it the whole season because, look, we also got to not worry, but look forward to Andrew Painter coming up soon. He may be here in July. So I don't know what you do with the 6-man rotation. I know you're against it. Ray was starting to tell us off air he's against it. Right? You don't agree with it either.
Ray's not as much against it as I am. Right, Ray?
Yeah, the one thing that I would give credit to the 6-man rotation is that Luzardo throughout his career has not put together the workload that would tell you that he's done this consistently in terms of high innings. Ranger Suarez, we saw a year ago just how he fell off in the second half of the season. If you could manage their workloads better to keep those two guys humming by the end of the season, I would like it. The problem is I think you tax your bullpen too much with the 6-man rotation because you're limited in the number of pitchers you can carry.
Yeah, because you're going to have to get rid of one of the bullpen guys.
I hate it.
Yeah, I can tell.
Hate it.
Now, listen, Rob Thompson was asked about this.
Yeah.
Before, not last night, the other night.
Yeah.
And he said that's a possibility.
Listen.
So he's considering.
Listen, Rob. Call your freaking general manager and say, I ain't doing a 6-man rotation. Go out and do your job and get me a reliable right-handed bullpen guy. That's what I'm saying to him.
All right, but then let me ask you this. Let's play this through. Would you trade Ranger Suarez if it meant...
Yes.
Not even let me finish the sentence.
Yes. I know where you're going with it. Yes, I would.
Outfield bullpen.
Yes.
So would I. And I think that may be where we're headed, but you need to get Ranger back into the starting rotation, I think, to show teams that he is, in fact, healthy and that he can be a dominant pitcher, and then you're going to get more.
Yeah. All right. Listen, Kincade took a shot at me today. Kincade took a shot at me on his morning show.
It wasn't that bad. I heard it.
Yeah, he took a shot about the fictional conversation that we had yesterday about would you trade Maxey and Paul George and a number 1 pick to the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis and somebody else that would make up the salary cap. Now, I would say a resounding yes. It doesn't matter if they're not going to do it or it doesn't make any sense because of the logistics or whatever. It's a conversation. I want to know if people would actually do a trade like that to bring Giannis here knowing you're going to lose Maxey and a number 1 pick. That's what I want to know.
Yeah, John.
And I want to know it in the chat, and I want to know it on the text board.
Yeah, John's thing was you can't trade 2 max players for 1. That was his thing. But your point is, if it was possible,
if it was possible,
would you do it?
In other words, do you think that much of Maxey that you would say, no, I'm not going to trade him? Because one of the guys that I played golf with said, I'd never do that. I wouldn't trade Maxey. Maxey's a star in this league. I go, yeah? You got Giannis out of the Kupo on your team? You want Giannis? You want Maxey instead of Giannis? Okay. All right.
Look, I tried to be a little positive about the Phillies. Let me try to do a positive thing about Maxey for a second. Are we unfairly, and I'm not saying I believe this, but are we unfairly judging Maxey based off of the disastrous season we just saw? Because you go back to 2 years ago, people were saying, you could build around Tyrese, you could build around him.
But then flaws came up in this game when he had to carry the load. A 6'2" guard in the NBA cannot carry the load. Can't. He can't be your star player. It's simple. The game has evolved to the point where a 6'2" guard, unless he's Iverson, and there are no more Iversons coming up the road, can carry a frickin' team in this day and age in the NBA.
And I agree with you. I'm just wondering if the disastrous season we saw, is it possible that Maxey can get even better over the next couple of seasons?
Good player. Can he get better to be a star? To carry a team?
Yeah, I don't see it either. I don't see him carrying it.
Then why do you ask the question?
Just hypothetical.
It's a hypothetical? I got to Cade's going to rip you tomorrow now for a hypothetical. 610-632-0975. I have some news on the other side of the break that's not going to make anybody happy. Not the least of which is me! The Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey everybody, it's Bill Colarulo. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel so you can engage during the show, and you're not going to want to miss all the content that we post. It's not only the live videos, it's videos after the fact. It's our shorts. It's all the content you want as a Philadelphia sports fan. Looking forward to connecting.